Hello friend and welcome back to my channel, Blue Nose Trading. My name is Tori Solis and today I'll be going over how to Ramshorn wedge clay. Wedging is my first step in clay prep. I know potters who are for wedging and those who don't wedge at all. I would say that in most cases it really just depends, so let's go over a few reasons why you would want to wedge your clay. Wedging gets the clay particles aligned and moving. This point has always sounded a little crazy to me, not gonna lie, but it tracks. In my opinion, wedging creates a clay that is easier to center and work with immediately on the wheel. Another important time to wedge is if you have uneven clay densities that you want to combine. I like to throw firm clay, and the clay I buy comes out of the bag pretty wet. I tend to sit my clay out overnight, covered in a cloth before I wedge it. This makes the outside a bit more firm than the inside, and wedging helps to smooth out the differences. Uneven clay densities are also common in reclaimed clay depending on your process. If you want to learn how I reclaim and recycle my clay, you can check out that video here. Very common in reclaimed but less common in pugged clay fresh out of the bag are air bubbles. Wedging the clay is a great way to remove any air bubbles from your clay. This process is also helpful in allowing you to re-wedge flopped pots or other off bits of soft clay of different firmness levels. I use the pads of my palm to roll the clay mass forward onto itself. I am not pushing into the clay so much as I am pushing the clay forward onto my slab, while guiding it around back onto itself. The rotation motion is a combination of forward pressure and guided gravity. Once you get the hang of it, you will see any air bubbles popping at the bottom of the wedge in the flaky croissant layer zone. I find wedging as part of my clay prep worthwhile, and trust me, I wish I could get around it. It takes time and effort to weigh and wedge 50 pounds of clay, and I would much rather spend that time doing other things. But alas, clay prep is part of my clay process. Even if you're not on team wedging, this is still a good skill to have. The process of Ramshorn style wedging is at once straightforward and incredibly nuanced. I'm pretty sure I spent my first year in ceramics wedging air bubbles into perfectly good clay. I watched so many videos on wedging and had other potters even show me and explain it to me like I was 5. It still took a year to figure it out on my own. So I did my best to explain my process, and if you're still confused, I'm sorry, but I understand. I encourage you to just keep practicing and watch as many videos as you can and see what ends up sticking for you. I promise that if you keep going, one day it's just going to click and you're going to be wedging all those pesky air bubbles right out. If I'm feeling or hearing air bubbles in a piece of clay that I'm prepping, I will continue to wedge until there are no more bubbles, and then for a couple seconds after that, just for good measure. If I don't sense any air bubbles, I wedge the clay until it feels even and smooth. When I'm done, I smooth out any of the croissant flakes with my fingers and slap the clay into a round ball for the bucket. How long you wedge a piece of clay will depend on several factors, including how even all the clay was in starting moisture levels, how much air, if any, is in the clay, and the surface that you are wedging on. I've seen people wedge on plaster, smooth concrete, hardy backer boards, wood wrapped in canvas, the wheel head, plastic bats, MDF panels, and basically any other surfaces they had handy. Not all surfaces work the same, some are messier and stickier than others. As far as surfaces go, I highly recommend a Pottery plaster slab. I made a video on how to easily make a plaster slab for wedging and clay reclaim that you can check out here. A plaster slab is a studio friend to have. Pottery plaster is a great surface to work clay on, as its unique absorption properties allow it to aid in evening out the moisture of the clay. If your clay is too wet to wedge, you can let it sit on plaster for some time to evenly remove moisture. As far as posture, you want to keep your legs evenly spaced and your back straight while you work. I consider belly button height to be a great height for a wedging table. My table's actually a bit short, so I stand with my legs extra wide and kinda weird. I wedge standing up, but other people wedge sitting down. You're just going to have to find what works best for you. Remember to push the clay forward onto the slab and back into itself with the pads of your hands. I hope this explanation and demonstration was helpful for you. If not, I totally understand because it felt like no one was able to explain it to me either, but I promise you will get it. Keep practicing and watching all the different pottery learning videos. Everyone has their own unique way of doing and explaining, so try to look at as many perspectives as you can to find your own way. Thank you so much for tuning in this week. If you'd like to stick around for more videos, be sure to subscribe to this channel, Blue Nose Trading. To help support my channel and get early access videos, you can become a patron member here on YouTube. Remember that you have ideas that are worth exploring, drink plenty of water, and I will see y'all in the next video.